welcome back to Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Jay Palton and I'm here today to look through the news concerning the Toffees today as the season draws ever closer. First off, we have from Paul Joyce at Everton having interest in Kiernan, DEWSBURY-HALL. I'm sure there were some links there last season as well before he obviously went to Chelsea. And this is an interesting one. I think he is a very talented player, did terrific things in the Championship for Luton first and then for Leicester when they went down. Fairly effective when they were in the Premier League too, but of course also couldn't stop them from being relegated, and then left last season to go to Chelsea, where didn't play much first half of the season, looked like a poor move for him, but he played more in the second half of the season and I think he did well there. He was quite effective, got a couple of trophies, did well in Europe front, played a bit of the Club World Cup. They had quite a few injuries in centre of the park and he stepped up, did well, and I think his stock is probably higher now than it was in the January transfer window, but saying that, he's a player I definitely would be interested in if we could get him. 79% would agree with that, 6% would say no, and 13% or so are unsure. Look, it also depends on the finances. Chelsea are definitely going to be in a model where they're not looking to lose money on players, especially when they're signing younger players and guys coming towards their prime. So he's someone I would be looking at if the option is there. Jack Grealish, on the other hand, he's someone that Everton could revisit this month, according to Paul Joyce, whatever that means, to be fair. Jack Grealish is clearly a very good footballer. Lost his way a little bit over the last year or so, but I do feel like he has got another move in him and he will do well somewhere. Can Everton take that risk? I'm not sure. He would need to lower his wages by, I mean, you're talking at least, I'd say probably 60%. If he is on the supposed £300,000 a week deal, he would need to shift that or have City pay, at least half of that, you'd imagine, before Everton can even consider it. And then I also think, well, he does his best work on the left-hand side. We've got Ndai there, we've got Alcaraz can play there. I still think it's McNeil's best position. Is Grealish better than those guys? On form, when he's on song, back in his Aston Villa days or his early City days, absolutely is a better footballer than those three. But he's not in that form at the minute, and also, I say we're talking a lot of money there, and we need a right winger desperately, so he's another guy who plays on the left. So I'm not too sure on that one. I feel like if something like that was to happen, it would be because no one goes in for him. It's getting towards the end of the window and maybe Everton and City make a bit of a compromise. We'll obviously have to wait and see. Paul Joyce also saying that Everton are not dissuaded by the finances involved in a loan deal for Jack Grealish, which is interesting. Whether that's in terms of an actual loan fee, whether they know that City would happily or you would be willing to do a deal on the wages. Maybe that's kind of where that's coming from. But I say, even positionally, I'm not 100% sure on a move for Grealish. And even if he wants to play centrally, I mean, I'm not sure whether that would be the best fit for him. We do have Alcaraz, we do have Ndai, as I mentioned, and McNeil can also play there. Still no one on the right-hand side. So let's see what happens there. But I think that would be one that happens later in the window, if it is to do at all. Paul George also saying that a second bid for Tyler Dibling is imminent. I think with Dibling, good player, super exciting, huge potential, someone I would definitely be very happy if Everton want to get their hands on. Plays on the right, maybe isn't the profile of winger I'm sort of that I would earmark for Everton. I think Everton really could do some pace in the attacking third. They've not got any pace. They've got players who've got a bit of speed about them and no real shearing pace, and I don't think Dibling's quite that either. Having said that, I think he is super talented, so let's see what happens there, but I feel like that's a way off before we can move further there. Everton are potentially looking to sign fullback James Justin from Leicester for a fee of £6 million. Obviously, Justin, his stock was massively high a couple of years ago. Again, he was another player, did very well at Luton, did very well at Leicester for a period, then he got injured, then they got relegated, and then last season you barely heard from him. So let's see what happens there. But he can play right back, he can play left back. When he's on song, when he's on form, very talented player. I'm trying to think if he got in the England squad. I think he did just about get in the England squad, didn't he? Or maybe he got injured, I can't quite remember, but he was definitely at that level anyway for about 6 months. So I'd be all over that. £6 million, can play right back and play left back. I'd be all for that. And then our poll for that one suggests that 37% would be for it, 34% wouldn't, and 27% are in the middle, which is interesting. But Obviously, looking through different opinions there, and the fact that he has been injured. He has played his best football in the Championship over the last couple of years, so yeah, obviously it's all fair. We'll see what happens there. Matteo Moretto said that in recent hours Everton made an inquiry for Sevilla's Juan Luis Sanchez, not a player I'm massively familiar with, but again, another right back, very young, only 21 years old, 60% would be all for him, 38 unsure, which is where I'd be, and just 2% are saying no. Let's see what happens to that one though, because that's not a Paul Joyce or anyone hugely kind of reliable at this stage. Let's see what goes on there. And then just finally, Everton and Leeds are both trying to assign Josh Brownhill on a free, according to Dean Jones Soccer from Give Me Sport. I mean, Brownhill last season was absolutely fantastic for being one of the best players in the Championship, 24 goals and assists. Was very good for Vincent Kompany as well in the Championship, but is he Premier League level? I would probably say no, in terms of can he play for a team better than a bottom 5 side, and that's obviously what we're trying to get away from. As a squad player though, on a free, I don't see a huge issue with this. I think he was very good last season. Sean Dyche supposedly wanted him last year as well, looking at about £10 million I think. Whether he plays out wide or he plays in the middle, I think he could do a job. And again, the finances involved would be wages and a sign-on fee. It's nothing ridiculous, is it? So let's see how that one moves. I would be more favourable towards a move like that, which I think is lower risk than someone like a Grealish, where it's not a position we massively need, a lot of money involved. Obviously, a higher upside with someone like Grealish, but how many risks can be taken in a minute, we're unsure. But Josh Brown as a player, I would be interested in moving for, I say, as a temporary kind of solution stopgap, someone to help us over the line for these next couple of years where we're going to need the bodies. So let's see what happens there. But obviously, a lot of movement at the minute, a lot of things happening. So let's see what goes on the next couple of days. But let me know your thoughts down below and all the transfer news today. What would you like to see Everton do? Where do you want to see them strengthen? And we'll see you next time. Next one.